What is up, everybody? This is akathecoot again with a Sejuani guide. Sejuani is my new favorite player to come out of the jungle with, and as you can see, she's got one hell of a dance there. I didn't even want to stop. I think I did this for like a good 30 seconds. Caused everybody else to dance with me too, and that's how you know it's good. Jump right in here. Sejuani's Q is a charging attack, which, just for the record, can get through almost any bush in the entire game, through like any little obstacle there, even the one I'm at right now. I'm pretty sure she can charge across that at a crazy angle. Super good for getting away, charging in, all that good stuff. But she charges forward and knocks enemies into the air. She deals some magic damage when she does it, plus a percentage of the target's maximum health. And yeah, like I said, she pops people up into the air and stops after she knocks them into the air. Her W is basically, our next attack will do damage, but then after that she starts swinging her flail and does damage to everybody around her. Magic damage once again, plus a 10% bonus, and I believe that goes up. But if you click it right away, it's kind of like a two-part move where she'll just start swinging it immediately after. So that's good for a little AoE damage right there. Her E is Permafrost. It does, whenever somebody has frost on them, if you click that, it'll slow them and do more damage to them. So basically, once you swing your flail around, you get everybody all iced up, or you charge into them and they get frost on them, you can hit them again with that, and it automatically just does damage. It's not actually a skill shot at all. And her alt, her R, is she throws an ice bola, and what it does is it hits enemies, and then if it has, if there are enemies within a certain proximity to her, it all freezes them in place. This is absolutely great. You'll see me use it a couple times here, and you'll see why it's amazing. So they also take a bunch of damage here. And as you can see, my first attempt there is terrible. I was actually joking around with the people I was playing with right there and rushed in there like a douchebag. Literally accomplished nothing. But you know what? They can't all be winners, and at least I went in there and showed face. You can see they'll be pushed for most of the laning phase down at the bottom. But I'll get a drink of water here. Try not to drown. The last time I tried to record a video, I almost drowned myself trying to take a drink. I don't know how people can expect me to explain to them how to play a game when I can't even get through the intricacies of drinking water. That's how that goes. As you can see, I'm getting counter jungled really bad here, actually. He comes at me for a good while. I check off that. Go and do something new that I'm trying to do here and ward their jungle. I had a Lee Sin like 7 or 8 games ago when I was still trying to get through the beginning of the silver phases, and just absolutely terrorized me in my jungle, and I realized how important it is to do that. Ward the other player's jungle. Here you can see we could have chased down that Warwick. Probably could have had a kill on him, but it would have almost definitely led to us dying. So being smart and retreating when you need to is an important thing. But as you can see, that ward pays off almost immediately. My Morgana is a helpful player. She comes in here and sees that we're trying to steal the blue, and if she can get the last hit on it, she can have it, because we're in a situation where it's got to be like that. But word to the wise, you do never want to try and solo Warwick here, so I just swing my flail around, try and get a little goodness on him. Morgana comes and fixes that, and I didn't have to flash away. I'm sure I could have waited for a charge, but since I don't have any mana, I wouldn't have been able to get away from him in the first place, and I decided to get out of there with the blue. I do make some poor decisions. Once again, when I show you guys a guide, I don't like to show you the best game ever. I feel like that's ridiculous, and I don't want to build you up thinking that, you know, you're going to come in with a Sejuani and go 12-1, because that's not her role, in my opinion. I mean, you probably could, but that's just not the case most times. You know, I'm going in there as a tank. I'm trying to be a helpful team player, and you know, when you're a helpful team player, you're not in it for the kills. Getting out of the mindset that this is Call of Duty and trying to have the best KDR is a tough thing. But here, I get her just as she comes in, get a good shot on her. There you can see that ult, and wham bam. That's a kill for me, and then I die because I'm stupid and should have just let Lucian go in there and get the kill. I'm actually in comm with that Lucian. That's John, and could have just let him have that, and made a bad choice. But you'll see in this game, you can recover from bad choices, especially with somebody super tanky like Sejuani. I will get other people kills. Here again, that damn Warwick just coming into my jungle, stealing everything. So I tend to feel like I'm playing from behind in situations like these, but I get another terrible ult off there, snatch up the wrong person, get that Sona locked down, and we have a lot going for us right here, but we lost Sona in the bottom bush there, which makes things a little difficult, and Sona does the wise thing and steps in front of that Warwick. And I think John ends up getting the kill here, because he gets the 1-2 punch. Nope, we end up getting pushed out of it. That's how that goes. That's not a complete loss though, you know what I mean? Now John's down here all alone. I have the opportunity to tax him a little bit, which isn't something that most junglers like to do to people if they're good, but once again I'm in calm with him and he said go ahead and take a little bit, so why not take a little bit? At the end of this guide, I once again have the runes and the masteries up for people who like to have some sort of small guideline as to what I do for that. And if you guys need any other ideas, LOL King is where I go for those things, because that's where the pros go to put their guides up and find that best for me, so why not? Use what the pros use. I don't think I'm good enough to make my own builds at this point. Granted, I do try and stray away from the beaten path every once in a while, but in this build you can see that I almost immediately try and rush a Sunfire Cape. I don't even think I get my first jungler item, which is probably a mistake at this point. I should have gone for it just based on the fact that it's cheap, but here you can see with the fact that Warwick's going to be down here, and he's going to be camping this lane out like this, it's kind of my job to stick around and make sure that he knows that he's not just going to be able to terrorize this lane the whole time. He's got that damn thing where he can just sit under there and, you know, claw the shit out of you, and here I just let him know, you know, I'm in lane. Granted, I'm losing feed, but it's not like he's getting anything, and I'm close enough to those minions, I think, where I'm getting experience, so why not mess with him a little bit? Here, if Morgana was paying attention a little better, I think she could have came down and probably pinched, but I decided I'm going to go in here, and that was a dumb choice. It's like there was absolutely no reason for me to try and kill him. He'd have just marked me anyways, but with that being said, we get to go around on those two. I missed that. I throw out the worst health in the entire world. I will never pretend to be a pro Sejuani by any means at this point, but do pick up the double kill. Once again, could have let them have it, and should have let them have it. Having a fed AD carry would be much better than having a fed Sejuani, but at this point, I can't help what my flail's doing. Once that thing starts spinning, there's no way to stop her. I'm really disappointed in myself, actually, for not playing Sejuani sooner. She just has such a crazy CC like build. Like everything about her is just crazy, and then you get Sunfire Cape, and the next thing you know, you're doing more AoE damage to your AoE damage. It reminds me a lot of a Mumu's skill set. Almost the same style ult too, which is crazy. And here you can see the combination of both of us traps her underneath there. She flashes out of that ult, which is awesome. And I think I very wisely, I say think very wisely because, you know, like I said, I'm not a pro player at this point. Still fighting my way around in silver. But, you know, I try to back off if I feel like things aren't going perfect. And as you can see there, Morgana didn't get the memo and she ended up getting rocked on. So here I harass Sona a little bit, run away. Don't got no mana. Couldn't do anything in that fight anyways. Go back, finish what I started with the whole thing in the beginning. And watch my team get their feathers ruffled a little bit. Old Volibear doing some work up there. And part of being a jungler is knowing when you need to go and help some lanes. I don't feel like he's going to be able to get any of that CS anyways, so you get a lot more experience, if I'm not mistaken, out of a lane than you do in the jungle anyways, so do a little work right here. Here I launch the ult at him, do a little damage on him, let him know that, you know, I'm here to play. There you can see that frost move, your E, it does damage from a pretty good distance, especially when you're such a chasey character like Sejuani. So you have a lot of ability. She's kind of like an Ashe in a sense that she slows people so much. It's so annoying trying to get away from her. She gets a good snare off. I get a good pounce off. She gets the kill with that. It was either me or her. I tried not to secure it, but as you can see, I didn't do a very good job of that. But Sejuani, once again, very good character. Out of the Sunfire Cape, I go for the boots, get a little more extra mobility. She is a mana pick, though. That charge takes a lot of mana to use, but at the same time, you know, the best characters are. And one of the best parts about Sejuani is, you know, if you want to go into a Rylai's and you want to get a little extra health that way, you can do that. Or you can just go straight tank, and she's still very acceptable as far as, you know, character builds go and how useful they are later on in the game. She does not fall off late game as far as usefulness, and you can't really go too many places for that. Here you can see we knock down that tower, get a little surprise thing, toss the hook out, and boom, that is a very, very dead character right there. I realize I shouldn't have flashed right there, so save the comments and the messages if you would, but they can't all be winners, and I think I give you guys a reason. Go ahead and comment on this terrible play here coming up, but I think I have a much better angle on them coming in here, and here you can see Sejuani's ability to just take angles. I figure I can take the angle right there, and then I find out why it's not a good idea to do that shit in front of Volibear. Get flipped up, tossed back, look stupid, lose the tower. But Morgana goes and gets the double kill, Jax goes and gets the tower, and we're doing decently good here. Not a terrible, terrible loss. Or, we're not losing too bad at this point, I don't believe. We're pushed in pretty good. But, you know, help out the mid. Mid gets the blues. Blues for mid. That's the way that should go most times anyways, but every once in a while, anybody who's a jungler will know that blue gets really tempting, and sometimes, oops, I attacked one too many times. Look at the insane DPS I put out there on this dragon, or not. They come in, I believe they, yep, no, we got the dragon on that one. And here you'll see, I try and help Jax out. I remember right here, like, oh shit, he can jump out. He's snared forever though, and almost makes it. I realized he had the ward there, and that's what he was aiming for, but I'm a much bigger target, so I tried to help him out there and let him jump out, and that's one of the joys of understanding the moves of other characters. Especially with that volley bear right there. He'd have flipped me if I didn't know that he has the ability to hunt me down like that, but knowing that this tower is going to fall down once again, it's good to understand some of the little things in the game, like protecting that tower would have done nothing. It would have lost anyways, and they would have got me as a kill and that. Here, however, this is a full tower, we have a bunch of help. I'm going to stick around, I'm going to try and make myself, you know, a little bit more of a presence. And when they push back, port back, no reason to be there. But I go and buy the early home guards, see if I can't chase somebody down. And it just so happens that Ziggs is a dipshit, tries to get away here. I rush through his little goodness. And Morgana with those skill shots, she's a beast. And she keeps dropping that shield on me, which makes me damn near impossible to kill. And it's always a good sign when the other team's focusing you and you're the tank. And you're the tankiest character on the team and your health is dropping down low in a team fight. You can see right here. There's 3 other characters, a squishy support, an 80 carry who doesn't have any health at all, Jax who's our bruiser, and Morgana who's dealing all the AP damage, and I'm the one with no health. That's a good sign. That means the other team is not doing good, and even though I can't see it, I guarantee you that they are arguing amongst themselves, telling why are you, going after the tank, and as much as I hate that happening on our team, it's really nice to know that it's happening on the other team. I believe that probably 50% of every game that I win in these lower ranks, from silver up to gold, is solely based on the fact that the other team is falling apart faster than us. Here I go in a little too hot. I initiate a team fight with no health, and fighting under that tower turns into a bad idea. But when I was on TeamSpeak, you can see I just typed it in chat right there. It was kind of quick, but sitting under a tower and doing nothing is not smart. It's the most frustrating thing for me because there's so many better things you could be doing. We could have group invaded their jungle, went after their red, could have put some wards in their jungle and done things like that, but instead we sat under that tower, waited for them to get a team fight that they like to have, and ended up with the win. And I mean, here you can see it's like it wasn't that much difference between that fight and this fight, and look how much damage they did to us as we were retreating away from them there. Not only that, but they got good position on this Warwick right here, and we're definitely going to lose that Morgana. There's just nothing you can do about that. We just lost the fight under the tower, and we tried to fight under the tower again, and imagine that. Look what happens. But this other team is 100% focused on mid, and you know what happens when you're 100% focused on mid? You end up fighting under the next tower at mid, and they make the same mistake we do. Lucian comes in hot right here. I realize, there's not a whole lot here, but I'm still going to try and, once again, make my presence known, but I don't want to head check that bush, but since I don't really have a choice, they put me in the best position possible as a Sejuani, just in the middle, and toss that flail about, let my Sunfire Cape do its job, and have to run again. Good rule of thumb is, if you just lost a team fight, the next team fight you get into, you're probably going to lose that team fight too. And like an idiot, I figure I might as well try and be friends with this this Vayne right here, and look how that worked. So, somebody commented a few videos back about, what do you do endgame? What are the different scenarios that we'll have to approach in an endgame situation? Because, that's the toughest thing when you're in a game and you get to a point where you just don't know what to do. You don't know what to tell your team what to do. You don't know what to do. Well, a good rule of thumb is make a good fight happen for you. Here, instead of going after them, I realize I'm tanky enough. We'll get this tower down. Instead of going after and trying to kill and get kills and stuff like that, we end up getting the tower in a fight where there's, there was 3 of them there. Lucian goes, blasts the shit out of that guy. We get a volley bear down. Now, instead of you know, the team fight where we were losing, we got Morgana on the bottom lane, split pushing, which is going to have to be something that they react to eventually. You got 4 of us in the middle going to town on their inhibitor and stuff like that, and because we made a smart decision with the team fight and we got a few kills there, we ended up, you know, almost pushing into their, or getting their inhibitor, pushing to their inhibitor and doing a little work there. Here I'm trying to tell them it's probably not a good idea to do this fight, but with that being the way it is, she did so much damage to them that, you know, I didn't know she could do that much damage because we had lost 2 team fights, but with that being done, now's the time to go back in and get the inhibitor. So we turned 2 fights under a tower that we lost and 1 fight under our own towers, which we lost, into 2 towers and an inhibitor. And it's solely based on the fact that we just waited that extra second to get those kills. Here I thought the minions would be a little closer, so I took some tower hits. And this is communication for the win, everybody. I tell John, hey, we're going to turn on this dude. Go. Bam! He turns, blasts that ult off, and the next thing you know, whoop! Embarrassing kill. And once again, this goes out to the thing I just said a second ago. Right now, that whole team is bitching at that dude. What the fuck are you doing? You should know better than that. Blah, blah, blah. And it's not really Vayne's fault at all. It just happened to be a good play where we kind of got lucky. I didn't know how much damage she'd do, you know what I mean? But we come in, we drop a bomb on her real quick. Their team's going to be bitching the whole time. We'll probably get to the lobby and they'll be like, oh, Vayne feed, Vayne feed. It's whatever. But messing with the other team, it's good news for us. I get my ult off there pretty good. At this point, we've started the team fight behind, however. Our Morgana goes down. We're counting on Jax almost solely at this point. But Lucian does a really good job, John, of laying into that Warwick. Or that Ziggs, excuse me. And now all we got is a Sona. I got my flash up. I am huge into using offensive flashes, so I go and bust one of those little moves right there. Give her a little bit of that business. Slow her down. Drop that E-bomb on her. Wait for my next charge to be up. Keep trying. Not going to give up on this. Go in, get the charge. Lucian gets the kill. That's another one. That's just an extra little bit of icing on the cake there. They're pushing the lane anyway, so it's not like we're missing too much. And here again, I don't go after the kill. I take some of the target or the tower damage and just concentrate on those towers. I mean, there's nothing really else to do at this point. So we turned the game around based on one team fight. It was all because of the fact that we won that one team fight, went for the objectives instead of, you know, going for kills, turned on that Vayne, made her feel foolish, probably turned the team against her completely, and then ended up killing that big shiny thing at the end, which is what I think we're all going for. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, a little insight into how I feel about Sejuani, who I think is great, some runes and masteries for you guys, and hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe.